You see them everywhere, right? Those bright, flashy cans promising laser focus, insane endurance, a serious boost to get you through your day. But what's really going on behind all that marketing? Today, we're going to peel back the label and look at the actual science and the very real risks of these drinks. Let's get into it. So let's just cut right to the chase with the biggest, scariest question of all. Does it sound a little dramatic? Maybe. But can one of these drinks, something you can buy at any corner store, actually stop your heart? It's a serious question, so let's look at the actual evidence. 9. In a single major review of all the scientific literature out there, researchers found 9 documented cases where someone's heart just stopped, and it was linked directly to drinking an energy drink. And you have to remember, that's just the cases that were actually studied and published. The real number could be way higher. Now, here's the part that should really get your attention. We are not talking about older people with pre-existing heart conditions. These were young, healthy individuals. You know, the exact people you see in the ads for these drinks. And for 3 of them, that can was the last thing they ever drank. So what in the world is in these things that could cause such a catastrophic reaction? To really get a handle on the risk, you've got to know what you're drinking. Because trust me, it's a whole lot more than just some sugar and caffeine. Okay, first things first, let's clear something up that a lot of people get wrong. Sports drinks and energy drinks are not the same thing. They're not even in the same ballpark. A sports drink is for rehydration. It's giving you back fluids and electrolytes you lost sweating. An energy drink? That is a stimulant delivery system. Its goal isn't to hydrate you, it's to hype you up. All right, let's talk about the big one, caffeine. At a quick glance, you might look at this and think, hey, an 8-ounce Red Bull has less caffeine than my coffee. And you'd be right. But here's the catch. Who actually drinks an 8-ounce serving? Most of these cans are 16, sometimes 24 ounces. And some brands are so supercharged that one single can has over 500 milligrams of caffeine. That is like chugging 5 cups of coffee back to back. And this is where it gets even trickier. Because that big caffeine number on the label, it doesn't even tell the whole story. A lot of these drinks have something called guarana. It's a plant, sure, but it's also packed with caffeine. And often, that caffeine doesn't get counted in the total. Then they add in things like taurine, which has its own stimulating effect on the heart muscle, basically making the caffeine you did drink hit even harder. So you've got this super concentrated cocktail of stimulants all hitting your body at once. What does that actually do? Let's take a tour through the body and break down what's happening, system by system. You know, probably the easiest way to think about it is like this. Imagine your body is a car engine, a pretty finely tuned one. What you're doing is flooding it with a crazy mix of rocket fuel and additives it was never ever built to handle. And what happens when you do that? It's going to misfire, it's going to overheat, and eventually it can just completely break down. And the very first part of that engine to start showing signs of serious trouble is your cardiovascular system. Your heart takes the immediate brunt of this massive stimulant assault. And listen, these are not just theoretical possibilities. These are all things that have been documented in medical journals. We're talking arrhythmias, where your heart's rhythm goes completely haywire, coronary vasospasm, that's where the arteries feeding your heart literally clamp shut, massive spikes in blood pressure, and then the really terrifying stuff, aortic dissection, a tear in the main artery of your body, cardiomyopathy, and the one we started with, sudden cardiac arrest. So, while your heart is basically under siege, your brain is being thrown into an absolute state of emergency. It's on high alert, and the fallout from that can be just as dangerous. Kicking your nervous system into overdrive like this has been directly linked to things like severe anxiety, but it can go so much further than that. There are actual case studies of energy drinks triggering full-blown seizures, even in people who have never had one before. There are links to stroke, and for some people, that massive stimulant blast can push them into a manic episode, or even psychosis. And the damage doesn't just stop with the heart and the brain. Think about your body's filter systems, the organs that have to process this chemical storm. They take a huge hit too. The research has connected these drinks to some serious organ damage. We're talking about acute kidney injury, where your kidneys just suddenly start to fail. Acute hepatitis, that's when your liver gets severely inflamed. Some people have gotten it after drinking just a few of these a day, and even acute pancreatitis. These are all incredibly serious medical emergencies. So after seeing all of this evidence, you have to ask, what do the top medical experts think about all this? Well, their conclusion isn't wishy-washy. It is direct and crystal clear. Let's just let that one hang in the air for a second.
That's from the American Academy of Pediatrics, the top doctors for kids in the country. It's not a suggestion. It's a flat-out statement. No place. They argue the risks are just way too high for developing bodies.
Okay, so we've looked inside the can, we've seen the impact on the body, we've heard from the experts. So what is the number one thing you need to walk away with from all of this? Here's the most important point to understand. This is not the same as drinking a strong cup of coffee. The real danger here is the combination. It's the synergy of high-dose caffeine, plus those hidden stimulants like guarana, plus other active things like taurine, all hitting your system at the exact same time. It's that multi-front attack that can just completely overwhelm your body's ability to cope. And that really brings us to the bottom line, the one question you have to ask yourself. When you look at all the evidence of what these drinks can do, especially to a young, healthy body, is that temporary buzz, that short-term boost, is it really worth a permanent and sometimes fatal risk? That's definitely something worth thinking about.